You're watching Super Late Model Racing, the ASA Quick Trip Midwest Tour presented by Echo Outdoor Power Equipment. This 2009 online update comes from Madison International Speedway as MIS hosts the Joe Shear Classic. Hi, I'm Bill Holland at Madison International Speedway, where the ASA Midwest Tour is kicking off the 2009 race season. We'll see some of the top late model cars and drivers in the upper Midwest gathered here today, and these drivers are ready to race. After the tour's opener at Dells Raceway Park rained out, these drivers have had an extra week to get ready for action. MIS, a very fast racetrack. Let's head down to Jana Jurkovic for more information on this fast half mile.
Madison International Speedway is a track with quite a history. It started out as an asphalt track and was a dirt track for a little while, but since 1992, it's been strictly asphalt and now boasts some of the best half-mile racing in the state of Wisconsin with 18-degree bankings in both turns and long straightaways. Fans see two-wide racing all night long. But to conquer this track takes a combination of horsepower and handling. That's something Nathan Hasli has learned to conquer, though after all, he's last year's track champion. But the guy who won this event last year, ASA Midwest Tour champion Dan Fredrickson.
I'd like to think I have an advantage, but you really don't. The caliber of the guys who come in here are so good. They adjust to it right away, and it's just a lot of fun. Maybe we have a little bit of advantage with a couple things, but usually it doesn't turn out that way.
It's so cool to go to, like, when we go to Norway, Iverson and Kelly's guys, the whole stands are just erupting when they announce their names. When we go to Elko, I got some people that cheer for me, and you know, John Island and Jake Ryan and them, and it's just a good time. It's cool because then, you know, if you win the race, like when I won last year, I thought, well, that's pretty good because the local best was there and the touring best was there, and I felt pretty good about myself.
The Joe Shear Classic honors one of the nation's greatest short track racers. Shear was a fan favorite in his famous number 36 cars, winning countless races and championships before losing his fight with cancer in the late 90s.
He never showed up to do anything but win. I mean, that's what he did, and so he never showed up to do any worse than first, you know, and so and that's what he did for a living too. So he knew he had to do well, and you know, he spent the time on his race cars. He did all the work on his race cars, and they always looked great, and he was just always ready to race and ready to win.
It got me at the drivers' meeting when they came up, and his wife and daughter came up and they started to talk, and I wanted to kind of get up and say something about the history of Joe Shear and how much he means to everybody in the pits, but I was kind of choked up at the point, so I just kind of didn't say nothing. But I think everybody in the pits here is, you know, owes a lot to Joe Shear for what he's done to short track racing in the Midwest, and I think everybody knew him, and I think everybody had respect for him.
You know, being back for a Joe Shear Memorial, it means a lot. I grew up watching him race against my dad and Dick, and you know, then I had the opportunity when I first went to the Arco Series to race against him myself. I had specials here in Madison and stuff. So, you know, that whenever you have a race in remembrance of a good driver, you know, it's always fun to be part of it.
It's a strong field with 43 teams trying to make the show. Jana Jurkovic has more on the role sponsors play in this effort on the ASA Midwest Tour.
Sponsorship at any level of racing is extremely important. In today's tough economy, when many companies watch their spending, it's safe to say some of these racing sponsors are the most loyal. Check out the Madison International Speedway pits. There's almost 50 cars, and companies like Central Minnesota Masonry, Flipside Graphics, and Texbar Energy continue to support these drivers and this sport. The ASA Midwest Tour does their best to promote these sponsors, and they continuously work with drivers to make sure those sponsors are promoted.
Sponsorship is also vital for the tour itself. 2009 marks the third season Quick Trip has been involved as the title sponsor.
They do a good job of positioning Quick Trip to the consumer, the race consumer. They have a great website. The drivers are all very professional. They know their role not only as drivers on the track, but they also know how to represent their sponsors. They do a really good job. They know how to mention our names, and they frequent our facilities, and they know the importance of that. We support them, they support us, so it's a win-win for both.
We're back with racing action from MIS right after this.
What if there was a magic box that had everything you needed to get through your day? Well, there is, with its own bakery to bake fresh bread, and its own dairy to deliver fresh milk, and its own kitchens to make the freshest meals. And this magic box saved you time and money. It'd be pretty convenient if this magic box was in your neighborhood. Well, welcome to Quick Trip.
We're making it fresh for you. Fresh is the best.
ASA Midwest Tour fans know you don't have to wait for the main event for wheel-to-wheel racing action. There are 2 last chance races. Top 3 in each transfer into the Joe Shear Classic. In the first, it's former ASA national champ Brian Reffner in the 80 and Partyville, Wisconsin's Frank Cryer on the front row. Cryer will take the lead in the 99 car. Former track champion Dave Filer in the 93 will work his way up to second, with Freedom, Wisconsin's Kyle Kalmus in third. Last lap, and it's Cryer with the win. He transfers along with Filer and Kalmus.
I'm real happy with the car. Just cruise, put her in cruise. Knew I had to run 136 laps. I don't want to beat up the car, so just put her on cruise control once we get out front and let her buck.
In the second heat, it's Illinois driver Steve Rubeck in the 61 out front and flying. Third-generation Wisconsin racer Travis Sauter is battling his way up through the field in the 5 car. Coming to the finish, it's Rubeck with the win. Sauter in second, and Appleton, Wisconsin's Andy Monday third after tangling with Green Bay's Doug Malik on the front stretch.
A long way to the front, but the car's a good race car. It just isn't a good, actually it's a good qualifying car too, but the driver's a little bit rough on qualifying, so we know we'll race well, and at the end, hopefully we'll get, up into the top 5 and see where we're at, because I've seen Joe Shear do this before, and that's what it's all about here today.
Drivers who've qualified for the feature run fast heats that mean points in the championship standings. That's Orfordville, Wisconsin's Bobby Wilberg, multi-time champ here and at Rockford Speedway with the win in his heat. And check out the black 55 car. It's former 2-time Wisconsin High School State Wrestling champ and current Nationwide Series driver Kelly Byers returning to his home state, taking the win.
Well, first of all, you got to thank the Shendels here, Tim and Ron. They've been really good to me and allowing me to come run in this ASA Midwest Tour. It's a tour that I've watched, in the last year that really drew my interest. It was very, very competitive and a lot of good cars, a lot of hard racing. And my brother's been working in this series here for the last 2 years, so something to do. Had an off weekend, come up here to do this.
There's more from MIS and the Joe Shear Classic as the ASA Midwest Tour online update continues.